I'm James, and most of my life I've heard the phrase, "you're weird," or "not normal." When I was younger, this used to really bother me, as I never really felt like I fit in, until I became older and I started to question this with a simple why. What is normal supposed to be? The majority of the responses I received were basically this one sentence: what normal people do, what everyone else does. For me, this wasn't much of a reply, because I couldn't use it to justify why my behavior was so abnormal. I'm fortunate enough to be able to say that I have many close friends, and people who love and pursue my friendship. Now, I'm not saying this to edify, however, think about it. I myself behave unhinged to a societal norm, and I wouldn't say that I'm feeling rejected because of my refusal to adapt to the norm. In fact, quite the opposite. I feel happy, liberated, and honest. I feel normal. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about this and why it's so important to be normal and act like everyone else when we have clear examples of why this doesn't work. Famous musicians, inventors, risk-taking entrepreneurs. Throughout history, I don't believe that the majority of the people in this group are actually, by any societal standard, normal. And because of their refusal to adapt, they have set themselves apart by being true to themselves. I think that this blind delegation to be normal is killing society, creativity, curiosity, and individuality. The very things that make someone so beautiful, our unique individual selves. We are born different for a reason, and this reason isn't to hide your soul and to be ashamed. When everyone else is wearing blue, it's okay to like red, to wear it, to love it. Your honest expression of yourself is the most beautiful way to be. Being punished for honesty is something that needs to be rethought if we want to develop as a society that is constantly growing. When you look into a field of grass and a single flower is growing, do you stop to admire the grass or the flower? Of course, the uniformity and the verdette of the grass has its own beauty. However, the flower demands attention without saying a word. Its uniqueness and will to grow, when everything else around it is telling it to grow in one direction, it does what it wants. It grows to its nature, and this is normal for the flower. Just as the flower, you should appreciate your own beauty without demanding attention to validate your own individuality. If you can't use your own light to guide you, then how do you expect anyone else to be able to see through the darkness of normality? Be the flower, be yourself, and the admiration of your honest portrayal will illuminate the path for you to be admired naturally. I saw a video on my feed of this guy walking his pet goose across the street. Now, is this normal? Well, the majority of people would say it isn't. However, this action brought more joy and entertainment than if he had been walking a dog per se. I myself have carried out such acts of social rebellion as I am sure we all have at one point. Go back to that moment. Did you not feel free and alive during these pure moments of true self-expression, dancing like no one was watching or singing in the shower? You have the ability to feel this way more often if you understand that what is normal and what normality actually is for yourself. Take into consideration that just because someone might not agree with what you are doing, and this may not be normal for them in their own nature, it doesn't mean that you cannot benefit society by disrupting it a bit. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and many people are facing changes and feeling lost, which is completely understandable. Some of you are losing your businesses or feeling a loss of identity due to COVID, and maybe you have been separated from your friends and family for such a long period of time that you started to feel certain ideas, desires, and characteristic traits come to the surface, ideas and feelings that maybe you have been suppressing for quite some time, or maybe even your entire life. Your recent solitude has offered you a window into your individuality. Take this opportunity to dive in with your own soul and imagination to uncover your true self. The true you that isn't being molded by the opinions of others or developed to match the societal surroundings. It's okay to become your actual self and to learn to love it. With this being said, consider if you're one of these people who are judging and condemning others for being weird and not being normal, all because you're being true to themselves. Being true to yourself takes understanding, vulnerability, and valor. If you understand that you have the final say in how you define your own individuality and normality, and if you have the courage to discover yourself despite what your family, friends, or the public will say, then this will be the greatest guard you will have in protecting yourself from the negativity that potentially comes, and this vulnerable feeling will become a strength. Thank you, and I hope that this message will help you to inspire to be normal.